PCCD and OVS want to better inform and educate the field with the OVS consolidated standards. Pennsylvania has long been considered a leader when it comes to these operational standards that are designed to maintain quality services and program delivered by skilled advocates and staff. The standards are meant to be a guide to VSPs for best practices and excellent service delivery, provide minimum expectations for VSPs, and ensure uniformity of service delivery across the Commonwealth. The standards provide the minimum expectations of victim service delivery and ensure professionalism of the victim's services field. PCCD and OVS has launched a series of recordings that will walk program staff through our standards. These will be short recordings, up to 30 minutes in length, posted on PCCD's YouTube channel. The OVS newsletter will announce new recordings as they are available. A prior recording called Introduction to PCCD Consolidated Standards is available on PCCD's YouTube channel. PCCD recommends listening to the introductory recording if you have not already done so. In this recording, we will highlight the Training and Ongoing Professional Development Standard adopted by the Victim Services Advisory Committee, VSAC, in August 2024. Programs who have PCCD as their oversight entity will need to have a training and ongoing professional development policy and procedure in place. Following this training, the program staff contact assigned to your grant can help answer individual questions about this standard in relation to your project. Training is essential to the ability of victim service professionals to carry out their responsibilities. Training gives victim services programs, or VSPs, staff the skills to react timely and wisely in difficult situations and deal with urgent human problems by utilizing independent professional judgment. Training and ongoing professional development is the process that helps advocates stay current in their skills to respond to the changing needs of victims. Training of the VSP staff member shall be competency-based with an emphasis on building individual skill levels. All training shall be victim-centered. Please note, agencies whose oversight organization is the Pennsylvania Coalition to Advance Respect, or PCAR, Pennsylvania Coalition Against Domestic Violence, PCADV, and/or National Children's Alliance, NCA, will abide by the relevant oversight organization's training standard. These agencies will not be required to attend Foundational Academy. However, they must still meet the 10 hours of professional development requirement annually. The 10 hours can include the hours related to meet PCAR, PCADV, or NCA professional development requirements. However, if a PCAR and/or PCADV funded agency provides services to all crime victims, they must provide documentation that staff have received additional training to build their skills in service provision to all crime victims. VSPs may have multiple oversight entities. Any VSP that provides services to all crime victims will abide by PCCD, OVS, consolidated standards, which includes the training and ongoing professional development standard. Initial training shall be completed within 6 months from the date of hire and documentation of completion of training placed in the staff's personnel file. The number of required training hours for VSP staff and volunteers and the parameters for training compliance shall be as follows. Employees and volunteers must attend an 8-hour orientation to the agency, which includes general information about the mission and operation of the program, crisis response, and the specific services provided. Agencies must provide and document an additional 32 hours of training for volunteers of VOCA-funded programs who are not affiliated with state coalitions or chapters and who have direct contact with victims. In a few moments, we will cover the topical areas that volunteers must be trained in when providing direct services. This is in addition to 8-hour agency orientation. In addition to these annual training requirements, it is also important for VSP leadership to determine when new staff and volunteers may begin interacting with victims and accessing sensitive victim information. New staff of VSPs providing VOCA, RAZA, and VOJO-funded services shall provide documentation of completion of PCCD's Foundational Academy or attend PCCD's Foundational Academy within 6 months of hire if providing direct services to victims. Funded positions who have primary roles involving administrative oversight, accounting and bookkeeping, data entry outside of funded client-related data, grant writing, reception, and clerical information, technology and support, maintenance, and other ancillary service roles, example, shelter cook, transportation driver, etc., are exempt from the PCCD Foundational Academy. However, they must still attend the agency's 8-hour orientation training. Attorneys and therapists are not required to attend the Foundational Academy, but are still subject to agency orientation and training. It is understood that these positions are subject to separate licensing and credentialing, as well as continuing education obligations. Consultants and contractors are exempt from the PCCD Foundational Academy. It is understood that VSPs select consultants and contractors who bring their expertise to the project program. For staff hired before the existence of the Foundational Academy, documentation of attendance at PCCD's Orientation for New Victim Service Providers, or 32 hours of training covering the following topics must be provided: advocacy skills, communications, confidentiality, counseling skills, trauma-informed service delivery, crisis intervention, working with victims who have a disability, ethics in victim services, diversity and cultural competency, mandated reporting, overview of the criminal, juvenile, and civil justice systems plus appeals process, the importance of self-care, trainings that are integral to the victimization populations served through the VSP, values clarification, and victims' rights. The same list of topical trainings also applies to volunteers who will provide direct services. Additional training is required for VSP staff who provide the following specialized services: Community Crisis Response Training and/or Keystone Crisis Intervention Team, or KCIT, training is required for advocates providing crisis response services to include crime scene response, community crisis intervention, death notification, and debriefing. For those who are not familiar with KCIT, this statewide program has been in existence for over 20 years. The mission of KCIT is to empower local communities to support crime victims in their community from traumatic incidents by assessing the impact of the event on the community developing an intervention plan, and providing crisis intervention by trained volunteers. What differentiates this services from provided by KKIT from services provided by other crisis response organizations and teams in the state is that KKIT's mission is to respond in the aftermath of a criminal event rather than a natural environmental disaster or some type of accident. KKIT provides specialized death notification training to businesses and community organizations. The KKIT team may also assist in debriefing sessions with advocates, first responders, allied professionals, and the community at large. KKIT additionally provides technical assistance and training to communities, schools, and businesses wishing to improve the response to individuals traumatized by violent events. KKIT is governed by an advisory committee with the support of a coordinator and a team of volunteers across the state. For more information on this program, or if you are interested in becoming a KKIT volunteer, please contact the program staff contact on your grant. Crime victim compensation training is required for staff providing claim filing assistance. An overview of Pennsylvania's Victim Compensation Assistance Program, or VCAP, is a part of the Foundational Academy. Advanced and specialty courses are available once the basic VCAP course is complete. Therapists providing services within a VSP must be licensed within Pennsylvania. Specifically, the credentialed therapists must be licensed by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania in their dedicated field of study. The license must be in good standing, and the therapist must have received the necessary training and education to include trauma training. VSPs may also consider utilizing a master's level clinician who has completed their casework, is working toward licensure in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and whose professional scope of practice includes therapy and is under the ongoing supervision of a professionally licensed clinician. Please refer to the therapy standard for more information. In terms of annual training, all employees whose roles consist primarily of direct contact or supervision of employees having direct contact must attend 10 hours of professional development. Trainings must fall into the topical areas previously discussed in this presentation. Professional development hours are based on the calendar year, January to December. Documentation of ongoing professional development should be held in the personnel or volunteer file. The professional development hour requirement for the employee or volunteer's first year will be based on the date of employment or the beginning of volunteer service at the program. Up to 2.5 hours of professional development can consist of administrative trainings such as technology or supervision management topics that enhance the operational efficiencies of the program. Employees who exceed the required 10 hours of professional development will be allowed to carry over a maximum of 3.5 hours into the next year. Staff and volunteers must participate in a minimum of 1 hour of professional cultural diversity training annually. For VSPs that must adhere to NCA, PCAR, or PCADV standards, these hours can be part of the sum of hours required by the funders. Volunteers having direct contact with clients shall complete the 10 hours of ongoing professional development per year. Please note that the Training and Professional Development Standard offers practice tips on where to seek professional development and training. This would include, but is not limited to, training opportunities offered by the state or national coalitions and chapters, trainings announced in the OBS newsletter, and the Pennsylvania Victim Service Training, or PVST, platform. PVST offers over 40 webinars as a registered user of the system. All PVST training are of no cost to any victim service staff, member, or allied professional. PCCD and OBS encourages ongoing training and professional development in the following areas: empowerment, collaborative community building skills, systems advocacy, communication skills, crisis intervention, enhancement, community safety planning and strategies, advanced classes in victims' compensation. Classes are offered via PCCD WebEx platform and are free. To accomplish this, some options are developing in-house training for staff, collaborating with other local or regional VSPs or partners through mutual agreement to offer training, hosting qualified outside trainers, or sending staff to other programs for trainings. When striving for excellence, VSPs may subscribe to professional journals, work to recognize the value of education and training in improving services to victims, and encouraging staff to obtain more than 10-hour minimum of annual training and education. Please email or call the program staff contact assigned to your grants with any questions. Thank you.